Human beings mark our lives by time. Clocks, work weeks, vacation schedules, and alarm notifications. When your alarm sounds on Sunday morning and your awareness of the day's new life has begun, what do you think about first? Are you tired? Do you stretch? Perhaps you offer a word of gratitude for another day of life. Or maybe you start to think about everything you have to get done in order to get to church. Hopefully, on time. Get up, shower, dress, prepare breakfast, wake the kids, walk the dog, manage a household with one too few bathrooms, make coffee, and hit the road. You may not be conscious of it, but you have already begun your journey to the Holy Communion table of God. Do you feel prepared? I suspect if you're anything like me, you might benefit from some moments of intentionality on Sunday morning. Let me encourage you to begin with an honest prayer, even before your feet hit the floor. And do not forget, as you hustle through each necessary task of the morning, that each one is actually a moment of preparation for a pilgrimage, one you walk with others toward an altar where Christ is inviting you in to dine and to commune. What is your commute like? Do you listen to music? Is it your music or your children's music? Is there a podcast on, or perhaps the news? When you drive, do you notice the world all around you? The glories of creation, trees, flowers, grasses, birds. Do you see homes and people out in the world beginning their day? The world is a sacrament of God's glory, and it is everywhere inviting you to revel in the presence of divinity and grace. Do you take notice of that? Or do you simply make it mundane and pass by? When you pull into the church's parking lot, it may be tempting to look for a good spot, or maybe the spot that you've felt like is yours since you started coming to the church. It is tempting to put your mind on managing your way into the building, especially if you have kids. Will you get a cup of coffee when you get into the church? Who are you going to run into? What were the scores again from last night? Let's see if I can remember them so I can have a nice conversation with my friend. Is there something bothering me? Is there someone I can talk to about my political point of view? Do I have complaints? What's that pain in my knee? Mind wandering. Most of the time our minds go from one thing to another. Mind wandering. It is natural, but when we do it, we are scarcely present to all that is truly before us. So when you pull into the parking lot and begin your ascent toward the sanctuary, remember that each bit of your journey is leading you somewhere special. It is leading you to the holy table of Christ. It is leading to your calling. At Peachtree Christian, you are welcomed into the gathering space as you get nearer to the sanctuary. Out of its windows, you will see the glories of these ancient dogwoods. What do they tell you? I think they tell you another way to think about time. They hint at the spring with new buds. They tell you of life's renewal every year, right around Easter, as their blooms burst forth with color and smells that remind you that heaven is just closer than you think. Closer to us than we are to our own faces, in fact. These noble trees show the strength and glory of a full life in the summertime, resting under the summer sun, and in the fall, they tell the story of maturity and settling down into life's sleep. Then there is the winter, where they stand and await their day of resurrection. Fitting it is that these dogwoods adorn a courtyard next to a columbarium where souls await the day of Christ's resurrection. All of this space, this courtyard, it tells us that time is holy and that all of our times touch and intersect with eternity. Emerging from this gathering space on your spiritual pilgrimage and journey to the sanctuary, you will go along the spiritual pathway. Not only does it lead along these glorious dogwoods, but it is supported by the graves that hold the cremains of those dearly departed faithful that are awaiting the resurrection literally below your feet. Is it not poignant to know that there, In the spiritual pathway, you stand on the shoulders of those who've come before you. These were once pilgrims too, and you're joining their path as you walk your own. Along the way, you will be led through Christ's stations of the cross, his passion, the Via Dolorosa. The holy pilgrimage to the cross flanks you and leads you on the final leg of your pilgrimage into the sanctuary, where you're going to find other pilgrims too, gathering and preparing for worship. And they are called to the same calling you're called to, which is Jesus' invitation to the table. Everything that you've done this morning, whether it's been mindful or busy, it's led you to a corporate gathering that is adorned with a call of worship meant to unify us, shared confessions and forgivenesses, prayers, communal singing, sitting under the authority of God's holy word and teaching, and ultimately, a calling to the holy table, an altar of God, where Jesus is host and paves the way for unity between us and God and us with one another. You have made your pilgrimage, my friend. And pilgrimages are journeys that transform us. They're journeys where along the path each step intersects with the divine. Be transformed by this journey. Let it change you. Let church be more than just one more box to mark off your weekly list. As you prepare for it, put your mind in the Spirit of God and let God renew you as you walk each step. You are welcome to the table.